Have you ever had a moment where everything felt stable, and then suddenly everything changed? Not gradually, not predictably, but suddenly. Situations like that create fear, because they remove our sense of control. And when control disappears, anxiety often takes its place. In Mark chapter 4, we find a moment like this in the lives of the disciples. What begins as a simple journey turns into a life-threatening storm. And in that moment, we learn something powerful about fear, trust, and the presence of Jesus. The disciples were not in the storm because they disobeyed. They were in the storm because they followed instructions. Jesus told them to cross to the other side, and as they obeyed, the storm arose. This challenges a common assumption that doing the right thing guarantees an easy path. But the reality is, obedience does not remove difficulty. Sometimes it leads you directly into situations that test your faith. The disciples were experienced fishermen. They understood water, weather, and risk, but this storm was beyond their control. And that is where fear begins, when your experience is no longer enough. As the storm intensifies, the disciples panic. Meanwhile, Jesus is asleep. That contrast is important. The storm was real. The danger was real. But Jesus' posture was different. The disciples focused on the storm. Jesus rested in authority. Eventually, they wake him and say, "Do you not care that we are perishing?" That question reveals something deeper than fear. It reveals doubt. Not just doubt in the situation, but doubt in his presence. And this is where many people struggle today. When life becomes overwhelming, the question shifts from what is happening to where is God in this? Fear grows when we focus only on what we see and ignore who is with us. Jesus stands and speaks to the storm. "Peace, be still." And immediately, the storm calms. But then he asks the disciples a question. "Why are you so afraid? Do you still have no faith?" This is not a question about information. It is a question about trust. They had seen his power before. But in this moment, fear overshadowed what they already knew. And that is what happens in difficult seasons. We forget previous faithfulness when present pressure becomes too loud. Trust is not about denying the storm. It is about remembering who is in the boat with you. The storm did not last forever, but the lesson remained. Life will bring moments that feel unstable, uncertain, and overwhelming. But those moments do not mean you are alone. They do not mean you are abandoned, and they do not mean you are without help. Sometimes the greatest growth in faith comes not when everything is calm, but when everything feels out of control. Take a moment and ask yourself, where has fear replaced trust in my life? And how can I begin to shift my focus again?